At Midway USA, we know the AR-15 is one of the most popular rifles in modern American history. Known for its modularity and widespread use, it's often considered essential to any gun collection. The essential things you need to run an AR-15 are usually always in stock during shortages, things like magazines and 5.56 ammo. Whether you're looking to buy a new AR-15 or buy parts for your modern sporting rifle, log on and for just about everything for the outdoors, shop MidwayUSA.com.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
Back, we're going to have a little bit special of a podcast for you guys and kind of take a break from the normal here. We had some little crazy mishaps that happen in our community, in our circle, in our family here at the Outdoor Drive. So we decided to do something a little bit different. We've been recording for the Tales from the Tailgate, and we had a special guest join us, and a tragedy happened, and we just want to shed light on him and try and make his day by dropping this podcast a little bit early, just something a little bit different. There actually is, in the link below here, guys, there is a GoFundMe for him. Tim Ricci, who is a huge supporter, had reached out to Stevie. What, he reached out to you about?
Yeah, I think it was two
or he was on
seasons
Facebook
ago,
or
looking for some newer hunter. Looking for some advice on e-scouting. Didn't really know what he was looking for,
Right.
So I helped him out with some e-scouting, and we've just stayed in touch. Right through that whole season and this season. Through messaging and all that stuff. We recorded this episode a while ago. I don't remember. I might be repeating myself, but we stay in touch. He's called me up. I've helped him track before. We're always just, staying in touch. He had shot the deer that this episode is about, and then I think just last weekend he shot I think it's the second buck of his life. Real nice, solid Connecticut shooter buck
for sure.
And then less than 24 hours is when he had the accident.
Yeah.
So I will say this though. So as soon as I found out about the accident, I immediately messaged him like, dude, I just heard what, you okay? And all he wanted to do is talk about his buck from the day before, and I'm like, dude, you're nut, and he's like, my season's over and all this stuff. He's like, I'm just glad I made the killer's corner again. And it's like, I'm reaching out to him because I want to know how he is. Like, you good? Like, do you need anything? I'm genuinely checking in on him, and nah, he don't want to talk about that. He just wants to talk about hunting. So I thought that was really cool. And I don't blame him, right? Why focus on the negative? He wants to talk about what he loves to talk about.
He wants to talk hunting with his buddies. What do you mean? I don't want to talk about the bad things in life. I want to talk about the good things. So
I'm reading his responses, and I'm like, you're a nut, man.
It's just sad that he shot his biggest buck of his life, and then the next day this happened. So it was, for you guys that don't know, he got hit by a car really bad. He's pretty banged up, and he's in the hospital. He's been in the hospital. He's waiting surgery. Broken 10 ribs, shattered his face. I mean, he's not in a good place. And he's been in our thoughts and prayers since the day that it's happened. And us as a community, we try to hold together and take care of our own, and we always have, and that's kind of why we do what we do, and we live for this. And he was one of the guys that's inspired us, and he's one of those guys that reaches out to us all the time and is active with what's going on, and he's trying to build his own community by starting the new hunters community, and like, so to give back to somebody like this that's in need is the most important thing, because I would hope that if it was me that somebody would do something like that. So we decided to
real quick,
yeah,
it's the holiday season. I know money's tight with everybody. Not everybody might be in the position to be able to like donate to the GoFundMe or whatever, but the links on our Facebook page, on our Facebook group, I think it'll be in the show notes of this. Like, at the very least, like, just share the GoFundMe, because it might get out to somebody else. Even if you're not in the position to donate right now, somebody else might be. So just if you got a chance, just share the GoFundMe on your page.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate it. Let's drop through the sponsors. Stevie, you got a killer's corner? I mean, we can.
I do. I actually have Tim Ricci's on there for the buck that he shot last Saturday. And my buddy Steve Congdon, and I got to. He shot 2 nice bucks this year, and I'm working on booking him for Tales for the Tailgate that we still have to record. So, congratulations to him too.
So I guess we dropped the ball that Tales from the Tailgate's coming back, boys. So get ready.
Yeah, I mean, like we've hinted around it. We've kind of teased that. So basically, we wanted to get a bunch in the bank before we started dropping them. It
might be a little bit before we actually drop them, but
yeah, we didn't want to have to worry about scheduling 2 a week. So we basically wanted like 6 or 8 episodes in the bank, and we were basically waiting till like maybe after the new year to start dropping them. But with what happened to Tim, like, we really wanted to get a story out and like let our listeners get to know him as we talk about him, right? Like, so we just figured we'd drop it a little early. So
yeah. Any other killer's corners while we're on it?
No, I just said that and Steve Congdon.
Cool. Yeah. We had a great weekend. We did some killing. Us boys did. I'll tell you what, we did some killing. No questions asked.
We officially made it.
What's
we
that?
are now officially mercenaries.
We are officially
hired killers.
We are hired killers. Oh, we did some doe management hunts and doe day. Oh my God, was it fun? We're gonna wait to do a podcast on that, but I'll tell you what, it was a good time. It was a really good time. We haven't dropped too much about it.
There's no better, accomplishment in your life than when you get a phone call from a friend that's like, "Hey, we got some deer that need killing, and you're a killer, so pack your bags, let's go."
Yeah. So we went and did it. We beat them up. We did 7 does in 2 days, and it was a blast. I'll tell you, it was probably one of the craziest times of my life. So the Bowtech got to eat. Don't forget to go and check out Bowtech. Refuse to follow. If you guys haven't already, get to your local bow shop. The new bows are out. I have put my hands on them. They are there for your shooting and will come out soon. And if you use the promo code Outdoor Drive, you get a free bow case. So make sure to do that. Check out the new Bowtech. huntworthgear.com. There's some really cool sales going on with those guys still to this day. Also Latitude Outdoors. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive. They keep getting all kinds of texts. If you guys get on their website and drop in your cell phone number or email, you can get on their mailing list, and there's always some really, really cool sales. So go and check those guys out, latitudeoutdoors.com. Working Class Bow Hunter, WCB. If you guys haven't gotten over to their website and used our promo code Outdoor Drive and gotten some merch, you guys are missing out. I promise you. Some of the best merch there is out there as far as hunting and fishing. Hunting, bow hunting, merch. Go shoot your bow, guys. WorkingClassBowhunter.com. Fourth Arrow Camera Arms, fourtharrowcameraarms.com for all of you guys that want to film, or maybe you don't want to film, or you want to try filming, or whatever the case may be. They got some really cool stuff over there, or even stabilizers for your gun rest or in the blind or whatever. Go and check those guys out, fourtharrowcameraarms.com. And then Saddies Fatties. If you guys are getting ready for turkey hunting season, now's the time to load up on Saddies. I know that my ammo can is full of Saddies, and I am ready to roll some fatties. So if the Saddies are flying, the turkeys are fatties. Yeah. Well, yeah, fat turkeys,
Oh, yeah. I'm getting flashbacks for a second there.
Sorry. But without further ado, guys, hit the pause button. Go and check out the link below for the GoFundMe for Tim. Say a prayer for him. Keep him in your thoughts this holiday season as he sits in a hospital bed while everybody else is enjoying the holiday. And just, whatever, reach out to him and just wish him his best. Sometimes you just need that when bad things happen. Could be any of us any day. Tomorrow's not always promised. So hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Yeah, let's get this thing rocking and rolling, and let's see the positive of Tim. Here we go again. I know you guys like sitting around the tailgate telling stories with good buddies, cracking cold ones. No matter if it's hunting season or fishing season, well, so does the Outdoor Drive podcast. So we're going to bring you Tales from the Tailgate.
All right, we are back for another episode of Tales from the Tailgate. This is your boy, the Madman Mardik. Hopefully I did not butch up the last episode too bad as a host. I'm kind of new to this, but we're getting there. Appreciate you coming back. I got my boy East Coast Trev with me. What's up, Trev?
What's up, Stevie?
You ready for another Tales?
I am. I'm always ready for another Tales. I think we should just stop doing the podcast and we'll just bring back Tales from the Tailgate full ride. That would be the way to do it.
Cool. So we got Ricci on the line here. Me and Tim have a pretty cool relationship. I actually started chit-chatting with Tim. I think was it 2 seasons ago, Tim?
It was the beginning of last season.
Yeah. Tim had reached out on one of the local pages asking for some advice on e-scouting or whatever, and we started private messaging, and we pretty much stayed in contact since then. So it's been really fun to watch your journey as an outdoorsman and a hunter, and you recently had some success, so we figured we'd bring you on here and hear about it.
Yeah, a little bit of success.
I do have a question before we really kind of kick it off. Has it been an overbearing situation going through social media to try and become a new hunter?
There's a lot of information ever since the internet kind of became a big thing. Everybody knows everything. So you kind of have to weed through it all, and I've gotten pretty good at that because I'm good at learning things through the internet.
Yeah,
for me personally, not so much, but in general, I would say so.
Just for tough, it's a little overbearing with people kind of thinking they know everything and kind of being
a question, and it turns into like World War III.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which in all honesty, when you asked that original question, it was about e-scouting.
Right.
Dude, I right away just privately messaged you. Like, let's keep it between me and you. We can talk like gentlemen, because I might say one thing to you and then someone disagrees, and then it's a pissing match between me and another guy, and you're over here on the side like, dude, I just wanted to know what you thought about my map. You know what I mean? It's
right.
a crazy world out there. But no, it's been fun, man. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the conversations that we've had, I haven't really tried to tell you what to do. A lot of times, you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. And I just really just confirm with you, right? I'm not, no, don't do that. You want to do this. A lot of times, you ping an idea off me, and I'm like, nah, man, it looks good. Get in there. Do you think I should do this? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Kind of let you, guide you and confirm and give you confidence, but not really hold your hand and tell you what to do. I really wanted to make sure you were doing it your own, and full credit to you for getting it done,
Absolutely. Yeah, you can stick anybody on a stand and make sure they're in the right conditions to get a deer, but to make for someone to actually learn it, there's a lot that goes into it, and if you try to learn it all at once, it's too much. You got to try to keep it simple. Stick with the basics, scent, wind direction.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time on the regular platform. I couldn't imagine starting now with the amount of information out there, one, and two, sometimes even I wish I didn't know half the shit I knew, because it just overcomplicates things and second guess, and nothing's ever perfect, and you can always find a reason to not do something, and
it's a rabbit hole.
It seems like you give yourself more doubt than confidence sometimes, and sometimes we envy somebody that may not take certain things into consideration because it's hunting at its purest form, right? It's just going into the woods and getting in a tree and seeing what happens. Where the more you're like, well, the wind's wrong or the thermals are wrong, or in theory this and theory that, and just shut up and hunt, man. Just get out there and
It's really easy to convince yourself that you're doing something wrong because you know how easily the woods can just turn into nothing, and you know you don't see anything for a period of time, and that's just what's going on with the deer herd that's in the woods there. They're in a different part of their range, and you can easily start tripping yourself up thinking that you're doing something wrong, and then really all you had to do was stick it out another day or two and be patient.
absolutely.
Once you get the core things down.
Yeah. The other thing we all know too is, it can be hot one day and dead the next. It can be dead one day or 2-3 days, and the next thing you know, you have the best day of your life in the woods, and you're like, well, I haven't seen a deer in 3 days,
Right.
and now it seems like every single deer in the county is around my tree, and then they're gone, and you're back to scratching your head wondering where it's just what
Right.
it
Did
comes
I
down
do
to.
something like
Yeah.
right.
What it really comes down to is just putting yourself in the best spot that you can think of on that day, and hope you made the right decision. So one big question I have for you: how old are you, Tim?
33.
So 33, newer hunter. I know you dabbled a little bit at younger in life, but what really triggered it for you to get into it now at this age?
I've always wanted to. I've always really been into it. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to trap and hunt raccoons, and with have a heart traps and stuff. I used to go out in the woods and shoot squirrels, and we had property in Vermont. um, I tried to hunt deer when I was younger, walking around with a rifle. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just walking around the woods getting lost with a rifle. And now I've always wanted to do it getting older, and I more settled down now. I'm in a better position to be able to spend money on hobbies, because you know how expensive
The most
I ride motorcycles too, so I have a lot of expenses for my hobbies. But I just always wanted to get into it, and I did it. I was kind of I had to go through the crap with the bow class they wanted, because they wanted a specific class for Connecticut. So I had to go to New York to get that. But now that it's all said and done, it's a relief to be able to get out there and do it. And every day it's just trying to learn new things, because you can listen to what 10 different people have to say, and they're probably going to say 10 different things, but in the end you really just kind of get out there and figure it out for yourself.
What do you think? What do you think's one of the biggest things that you've figured out in the last 2 years of hunting, or we'll say year and a half, right? So a full season last year, and we'll say we're halfway through the season now. Like, what's one of the biggest things that you've realized or seen with your own eyes, or figured out that you're kind of felt like you were onto something, and getting closer to success?
Honestly, patience is the biggest thing. Because at least for me personally, because I want things now. I'm an impulsive person. So it's hard to sit there and not even see anything. Never mind not get an opportunity for a shot, but not even see anything. And you're spending a lot of money and you're spending a lot of time, and then to not, it's I would get up and move, and screw myself. I'd get up and move stands constantly. I'd sit for an hour and a half, 2 hours, then go move, or I'd walk around because I'd convinced I'm not in the right spot. I gotta find where's the deer, where's the sign. I'm not really seeing any sign, but somebody shot a deer right here last week.
Yeah.
But
Dude, you're gonna be a great turkey hunter. I can tell you that right now.
Come turkey hunt with me. We'll have a blast.
Keep it moving.
Almost got one today.
That's
Hey everyone, this is Captain Steve Roger from Into the Blue TV. And as soon as I feel a little break from this heat, I know that hunting season's upon us. Actually, the first time I ever went hunting, a buddy took me. Wasn't my father or my grandfather. In fact, I took my father on his very first hunt. Well, Academy Sports and Outdoor Stores has everything to gear up for the field for less. Plus, you can shop a wide selection of ammo, shotguns, deer corn, rifle, feeder, game cameras, camo, and more from the brands you trust. Text Hunt 24 to 22369 to take $20 off a $100 purchase when you shop hunting supplies at academy.com. Need a hunting license? Pick it up in store while you're shopping.
Looking for a pickup truck to get just about anything done? Look no further. The Chevy Silverado EV isn't just the most powerful Silverado ever, with next-level towing capability and technology. It also offers game-changing versatility with the available multi-flex midgate and tailgate, which means Silverado EV helps you carry large, bulky, and oddly shaped items up to nearly 11 feet in length. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Visit Chevrolet.com to learn more.
Fishing like a local isn't just about catching fish. It's about connecting with the environment and the people who call it home. It's about hearing the stories and traditions that have been passed down for generations and sharing unforgettable moments with the people you meet along the way. Fishing like a local is having an experience that stays with you forever. And with Fishing Booker, you can experience it too, no matter where you are. Discover your next adventure on Fishing Booker.
awesome. Sweet, man. So why don't you lead us right in, and you can start the story wherever you want in the process, but let's hear about it.
So yeah, like I said, I started off not really knowing anything. I went out. Well, first I didn't have anywhere to go, so I went online, looked up some public, tried to find somewhere I could park and walk in. I did that a few times, walked around, didn't see any sign, and I started asking people online, like, can I hunt on your property? Finally, I got someone to let me hunt, and it's a farm. It's actually fairly big, and there's another guy that hunts there too. So he's also a new hunter. Me and him kind of, shared information and stuff, and both kind of scouted out this whole farm looking for sign and trying to figure out where the deer were. And it's like up against a hunting club, like a rod and gun club. So it's kind of in a bad spot, but it's kind of good sometimes when the guys go in or leave, they'll push the deer right over. So we kind of figured that out, and there was a time where like I said, I was walking around from stand to stand being impatient. There was a time where I started bumping into the deer, and it was the first time I had seen them on the farm there. And I started dropping pins every time I saw them. Then I started finding sign, and I realized, it's 250 acres, so there was a lot. And I spent a week, 2 weeks before I found any sign at all, other than some, deer poop. But, I didn't find any rubs or anything. Finally, I found some rubs, and it made a line straight down. So that's where we had set up a stand and a blind. And he had some success, which, was awesome for him, twice in a row, like 1 week. And then he went back a week later and got another one on the very next hunt out of the same blind, which was awesome. And I was in a tree stand, 80 yards away, having no luck. So it was very frustrating. And, one morning, the deer, I don't know how they must have passed me and I didn't see them or something, but it was frustrating. I felt like it was never going to happen. So there was a lot of that. I did end up getting a turkey, which was cool. And then last season was, a bust. This season, I was more optimistic. I had plans to scout, and I was gonna scout on the off time, and I was gonna go all in and do it right. But then the season ended, and it was out of my head. I was like, yeah, whatever. I even told my wife, I said, I don't think I'm gonna hunt this year. But then it's the end of the summer, and the temperature starts dropping, and you start feeling it. And I was like, all right, time to get my stuff ready. So I had more luck with seeing stuff on cameras, and I finally put myself in the right place where I knew there were deer there at night because I had them on camera. I knew they were there, right before first light because I saw them with my own eyes. I hadn't scared them yet going in, so I knew I was doing the right thing as far as getting in and being in the right spot. But it was almost like every time I was there, they were not. And as soon as I would leave, they're back. And I started taking scent more serious, and so I went and I got the spray, and I got the soap for your clothes, and the body wash. I did all of that. The first morning that I went in with everything, like with all the scent stuff on, I had a doe come in right before first light, right in front of me. I'm sitting in the ground blind, and I didn't. It was dark, so I didn't see it. But my camera notified me, and I looked at the picture on my phone, and there's a doe, and the camera's right in front of my blind. So I mean, this doe is 20 yards in front of me. So I'm like, I'm looking around. I'm like, where is it? So finally, I see, like, it's dark, so I could barely see it. But I'm trying to look through my scope, and I'm like, I wish it was light enough to take a shot, and it wasn't. But that gave me some hope because I knew, like, okay, like, finally some action. And then I think the time before that, actually, I had walked into the woods and just sat in a chair with a tripod in front of me, and I had the wind in my face, and I was just sitting there on my phone, not expecting to see anything. And some deer came in, and I took a shot, but I messed up looking through the scope. I got too excited. I was shaking, and I watched the deer through the scope the entire time without actually pulling my face away from the scope to make sure I had like a clear path. And the arrow hit a branch, and the deer ran off. So I was actually starting to see deer, and once I started taking the scent stuff seriously, and the wind stuff. It's simple to me now, but in the beginning, it was all confusing. And it really does make a huge difference. So I learned, like, I want the wind going this way because that's what makes the most sense. And I started, being extra careful with scent on any days where the wind wasn't going that direction. I didn't not go if the wind was bad because I really only had that one spot where I had been seeing deer. So even if and being in a ground blind, I think it's a little better with the scent. I wouldn't, I
What,
would
just out of
that.
curiosity, like what was a good win for you?
Um, North, I think.
Okay, so fairly common. It's not like
Hmm.
you're sitting around waiting for an east wind that
Yeah,
never
or
comes or
south or
something.
No,
something. Yeah,
no, no.
southeast or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah,
I just look at the map and make sure it's blowing away from where the deer
right.
are coming. You know, and with Spartan Forge, it's so easy to just look down at the compass. Um, so anyway, I had finally figured out, like, if I'm in the blind, I had a couple spots on the same property. I had a spot where I'd use the saddle, a spot where I have a hang on, and then I have the blind. So I'd use the blind early in the morning when it's real dark, so I'm not, fumbling through the woods trying to get up in a tree. I slip right into the blind, silent, and if the wind is good, it's great. And I'll sit there and just sit there and wait and watch stuff on my phone, not expecting to see any deer anymore because I have not really been that lucky. And I think I don't know what I was doing, but I was on my phone doing something, and I was about to go home. I had come to the realization that if I don't see anything by like 30 minutes past first light, I'm not going to see anything, because if I don't catch them when they're walking by, going to wherever they're bedding, I wasn't going to, so I'd leave by 8 o'clock. Well, this time of year, that starts to change. And on that day, that's what happened, because it was well past first light. What time was it? I don't know. It was well past first light. And all of a sudden, I could see to the right some movement. And I'm watching, and there's some deer. I thought they were does. And there's 3 or 4 of them walking across the top of the ridge. And it was weird because they weren't coming like towards me at all. They were up on there, like a completely different trail path. And this is the weirdest part to me. This deer just completely turns from the whole group, walks right down the hill, walks right in front of my blind, turns broadside, and stops. I'm shaking. I'm pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling on the trigger. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? I forgot to turn the safety off. I'm shaking. I'm like, what the fuck? So finally, I closed my eyes and I took a deep breath, and then I opened my eyes, and the deer was still standing there. So, and I took a shot, and he ran right up the hill, and I didn't know if I'd hit him or not, but somebody had told me if their tail is down, it's a good indicator. And his tail was down, and I was pretty confident. Like, I know if I can hit a shot, or I know if I can hit something or not. So I was pretty confident in the shot, and I watched him run up the hill, and then I just heard crash, and then I heard branches snapping, and like he's rolling around on the ground, and it was almost. It felt like it wasn't real. Like we're in a simulation. like what are the like he just broke off from the whole group and came right down, and ended up being a buck of little spike, and it was awesome. It was the most incredible thing. And it's weird because I had I felt like once I got one, I'd kind of like calm down and not spend so much time and money on hunting. But honestly, since I shot it, it's like I'm addicted.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get out there every day.
That's so fun. It's so funny. Your story reminds me. I have this theory that like the deer chooses you.
Exactly.
That's how it felt.
It's not a right time, right place, and a lot of times I see this with not to take anything away from your deer, but like those big bucks that people chase for like years, or there's like 10 guys all hunting the same deer, and like when it all comes together, it's like you didn't do anything different. It's like on that particular day, that deer decided my time has come, and I'm going to go find Tim, and this is how it's going. It's like they chose the situation and the timing, and it's like he came to you for you to take him. And like I think about that shit all the time, and just hearing your story and how why did that deer break off and come right to you and stand broadside? He was almost like, I've come for you.
It's your time.
I was in that blind every morning. I mean, pretty much every single day, just like last season. I mean, I was out there every day, every single Saturday, sun up to sundown. I was out there. I'm self-employed, so I'm able to do that. But every single day, I'm out there till 9, 10 o'clock, and then I'll go start work.
Yeah.
And then if I can get done early enough, I'll get out there for the evening. But I have to be out there as much as I can.
It only gets worse with time. I can promise you right now. It just gets worse with time.
Yeah. So you make the shot. You're confident in the shot. He takes off with his tail down. You hear the crashing and the twigs. You're pretty sure you didn't see him go down, but you're pretty certain
I heard him go down, and then I heard the sticks breaking. I could tell he was laying on the ground up there. So, I mean, it was 100% at that point. I knew he was down. I knew where he was. He was right there. So I started texting people.
Who was your first phone call?
My first phone call. I don't think I made a phone call. I think I just texted. I texted my other friend that that hunts the farm, because he's usually out when I'm out. So we'll both be texting each other while we're sitting there.
That's good.
And I texted you, Steve.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a text.
I texted you a minute before he came down, and asked you if you had any luck yet, or I forgot. I asked you something, and a minute later he had came down and I shot him. Um, and then I waited. I didn't wait that long, honestly. I waited probably 35, 40 minutes, just because I knew how quick he went down, and I didn't hear any noise up there at all. So I came out of the blind, and I wasn't shaking anymore, but I slowly started like going up the hill, and I was looking on the ground. I couldn't find my arrow, and I didn't spend too much time looking for it, but I'm sure it's in the ground somewhere. Halfway up the hill, I saw some blood, and then I got excited. It's when you see the blood, your blood jumps. Your blood warms up. You get excited, and then slowly going up the hill, and I stopped, and I could see the deer laying on the ground, like it tried to get into a little bit of like a bunch of trees blown over, tried to tangle up in them, and I just stopped and I took a picture right there and sent it, and I still thought it was the doe at that point, and then when I walked up on it, the smile on my face was huge. I was like, finally, I did it.
That's awesome.
All that time that I put into it, trying to, learn. And then it only got more exciting from there, because a week later, I shot another one, but it was a bad shot. And, that's a lesson learned. That's another story. But, uh, you know, I started seeing deer like constantly since I shot that one. And then I saw a nice big buck, got him I recorded him with my phone. He was smart. I don't know if he could smell me or if he was just staying up on top of the ridge, but he wouldn't come out of the cover. Yeah, it's exciting. It's so exciting.
So once you walked up to him, I mean, like, what was that first feeling when you walked up to him and you're seeing him laying there?
Dude, it was just like, finally I did it. I mean, like, it's done. Like, uh, I wouldn't call it adrenaline, but it was like, because there was plenty of adrenaline when I had first shot him. I had some time to finally calm down and collect myself before I had actually gone out to look at him. But once I had gone out and I looked at him, there was a whole different feeling.
And then you have to take on the task of field dressing them and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
so that's
then I'm
probably...
like, okay, I dragged them down the hill, and then I'm like, do I even have? I'm like, am I even prepared for this? Do I even have a knife on me? So I went down to my truck, and thankfully I did. I had the field dressing kit I bought that comes with gloves and a knife and a bone saw and all that stuff. So I watched a YouTube video, and I mean I've skinned squirrels and raccoons.
Right, so
and
you're not new to this by any means, no, but it's still an overbearing situation.
Never skinned a deer. I've never gutted a deer though. So I gutted the deer right there, dragged it back down to my truck, and it was a challenge to get him in the back of the truck by myself, but I was able to get him in the back, and it was going to be warm the next day, so I didn't have a lot of time to figure out what I was going to do, and I couldn't find anyone to help me. So I ended up YouTubing that too, and I jerry-rigged a thing to hang him off of a clothesline post outside of my house, and I YouTubed how to skin him, and I skinned him, and then I butchered him, and as I was butchering him, this white van pulls up on the side of the road, and this old guy just comes over and starts talking to me, and he pulls out a knife and starts cutting off meat, and he's just chit-chatting me. So me and this random old guy are just sitting there cutting the deer up. He's telling me these stories about how he shot, 2 deer at the same time, and with, this one arrow went through the first deer into the second one, and, just an old timer telling me all his crazy stories.
Have you talked to him since?
No, he was just sort of driving by.
That might have been a ghost.
Maybe.
Just showed up, told you stories.
Dude, I posted on Facebook. You guys probably saw it. I was like, Like, can anybody help me process? Like, I don't want no one to process a deer. I want to do it myself, but I need someone to show me how.
So two
And then
things
this
there.
random
One,
guy showed up.
I saw pictures of your meat when you were done. You did a phenomenal job.
Oh, dude, thank
Super
you.
impressed. I don't know what YouTube video you watch, but they did a good job. Two, I'm pretty sure Ghost helped you process that deer, and that explains a lot.
It might, yeah. I wonder who that could be, though.
I'm telling you. Just this old random
It's a
man.
ghost.
Just
What do you
out of
mean?
out of the mist.
Yeah, it was weird, and he kept saying how there's a lot of deer on my road. Like, he thought the deer came from here, but I don't know.
I had an encounter like that one time on a dirt road, and an old man showed up, said some shit, and just disappeared. And I don't even think he was real.
Yeah, it was weird. Because I never got his name. His demeanor was a little strange, but he was like super friendly though.
Yeah.
But
You never got his
just-
name. He just started hacking off pieces.
Did he kind of have glossy eyes, like something was not there?
yeah,
Telling you.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
dead.
it was
It
weird.
was a ghost, spirit.
Could've-
That's good
Yeah.
though. Hey, at least he helped you cut up the deer. It could have been way worse.
Yeah, it was weird. He pulled out some old like tackle box thing, and he was digging around and pulled out a knife, and he just starts cutting it off, and I'm like, thanks, cool.
Did he teach you
He gave-
anything when he was
Yeah,
here?
he gave me some tips. Yeah, it was awesome because I didn't know like the difference. So I had quartered it, and I saved the legs in a fridge in my garage for a couple days because there was a lot going on that day, and I still had work to do. So I had saved the legs for a few days later. But yeah, he gave me tips on like, this part you want to do this with, this part you want to do that with. But to be honest, I just saved like the back straps and the tenderloins, and then the rest of it I had some roasts, and then the rest I just cubed for like stew and stuff, and I made a bunch of ground meat with
The 1911 is one of the most iconic firearms in history. Designed by John Browning, the 1911 was the standard issue sidearm of the U.S. military from 1911 to 1985. While Colt produced the original, almost every major firearm company has produced its own version. It's wildly revered for its reliability, crisp trigger, and is still a favorite for all types of shooters. Whether you're looking to buy or build a 1911 and just about everything for guns, log on to midwayusa.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by AWS. Amazon Q Business is the new generative AI assistant from AWS. Many tasks can make business slow, like wading through mud. Help! Luckily, there's a faster, easier, less messy choice. Amazon Q can securely understand your business data to help you streamline tasks, like summarizing quarterly results or doing complex analyses in no time. Q got this. Learn what Amazon Q Business can do for you at aws.com/learn more.
pork fat. And
That's the best thing to do, honestly, because it can be used for so many different things. Hamburgers, tacos, shepherd's pie. I mean, like the endless
that's
amount
exactly
of
what I've
things.
been doing.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation the other night.
It's the
Me
endless.
and Tim.
It's ground is the best, right? You want to have, I think, 75% ground, and then you use the rest. If you want steaks, you make steaks or roasts, or you make something special out of it.
We did a crock pot the other night. It came out really good
That's awesome.
with some of that leg meat.
All right, so I got a second question. What did your wife have to say? What was her whole thing about? You're spending all this time on this new hobby. You're going out. You're leaving every morning early. You're coming home late. You're not bringing shit home, and then finally you get it done.
She was happy for me. I mean, obviously she's not, happy with the spending money and stuff, but I work a lot. I make a lot of money, so I do what I want, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
Do you know what they say?
Exactly.
You Can't kill big bucks if your wife
That would,
sucks.
that would just be a deal breaker. But I feel bad for her because it wasn't like the way it is now. Like if I were like to date again, I would have to give them a warning. Like just you need to know, like, I'm a hunter, so every year is gonna be
Story of our lives.
yeah.
They call them hunting season widows for a reason.
Yeah.
Right, but she's cool. She's cool.
Did she like the meat? Had she ever had it before, prior, or did you have it prior?
I hadn't had it prior, and I liked it. I didn't really like I made it as a steak, and I didn't really like it.
Mm.
But I made a backstrap. I stuffed it with apples and stuffing and goat cheese with cranberries and wrapped it in bacon. And
Jeez.
It turned out really good.
It's better than anything I've ever made with it.
That's awesome. And you know what? It tastes 100 times better when it's your hard work and sacrifice and all those mornings. And I mean, time and time and time again. And then you finally get it done. Like that first bite, man, there's nothing more rewarding than that.
But to be honest, the most satisfying part was I went on Amazon and I bought a vacuum sealer and so I could seal the meat up. And just seeing how much meat I got, how much money we saved on meat just from that one deer, I'm like, that's amazing. That's, like, I literally just want to hunt for meat because you save so much money. That's a lot. So that was really cool to fill my freezer. Like, I mean, I got stacks, of just vacuum sealed packages of meat, and it's awesome, sausage and ground meat and, like I said, roasts, all of it. So it's cool. She doesn't really like the meat. My wife, she didn't really like it. It's more of like it's in her head. It's a deer.
Right.
I showed her the video of me shooting a turkey and she cried.
Yeah, it happens.
So
in due time.
Tried it though. Yeah, in time.
Tell her Trev shot a turkey one time and he cried too, so it's normal. That's a true story.
That's a true story. It's different though. It's kind of like that agony aspect of like when you're going out there and you're getting aggravated and upset because you're not seeing deer and whatever, and then when it all comes together, it's some type of emotion that you can't keep under
it's an
wraps.
Emotional roller coaster.
Oh,
dude, yeah, in the beginning, I had taken one time I saw some deer and I had taken a shot with the muzzleloader and missed. And, I was, it was upsetting. Because I thought for sure I'd have it.
Not to speak for anybody else, but I truly think, and on the regular podcast, we ask everybody what drives you outdoors and we get all kinds of great answers. But I mean, if you had to average them all out to like one answer, I feel like that's what most of us do it for. It's for that emotional roller coaster, right? Like we're all putting in work and putting in time and sacrificing all this stuff and the highs and the lows and the misses and the regrets and the bad times, and you're freezing your ass off, but then you get that success, and I did it. I fucking did it, right? Yeah. Not to steal your quote, but I fucking did it. And like that dump of just pure joy and excitement, like that's really what it all comes down to, why I think we all do it.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, watching the sun come up from the woods every morning is phenomenal. I've got one of those like see-through blinds, and I don't wear hex gear, but I'll sit there and texting on my phone. I've got birds landing on my crossbow. I've got chipmunks running around the sides of the blind. Squirrels. They literally just ignore me. And I move. It's not. They know I'm there. I have had these two little birds come in my blind the other day and just sat there screaming at me. These tiny little birds.
Are they little tiny brown birds?
Yes.
So they're... What are they, the English? My dad was explaining to me the other day because he was talking about them, that they're not afraid of human beings.
Rat? Is it a rat?
Got right in my face. They flew into the blind with me, and they sat on the crossbow. One sat on the crossbow, and one sat on like the window. Dude, and they were just screaming in my face.
I I'm gonna try to find this picture right now, but not to get boring on the podcast. I had one years ago. Same thing. It landed on. So I was sitting in it was opening day rifle season. I had a brand new rifle. It was the first time I bought a new rifle. Like I had hunted with the whole same rifle my whole life, and I bought a new rifle that year, and it was laying horizontally across my my shooting rail, right in a buddy stand. And this bird comes and he lands on my rifle, 2 feet away from. He let me take my phone out and take a picture of him.
Yeah,
and he kind of
It's red?
looked this way. I think it's like brownish gray with like a red head.
Yeah.
yeah,
Went like this.
it's like a brownish red.
I got like 3 pictures of him turning his head like this, and then he took off, and it was almost like he was like, "Let me check out that rifle." Like, yep, he approved, And then it was like, dude, it was like the most coolest thing, man. And like, not to get all weird. I mean, I've already gotten weird. We're talking about the spirit that came and helped
Ghosts and stuff.
and everything, but like, I believe in a lot of that shit, man. And sometimes like Mother Nature all works together in mysterious ways, man. And like sometimes those other little critters come over and check you out. Like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, he's a good dude. Like, we'll let him get a little something today,
There's a bird in northern New England, in the big woods. It's the hunter's ghost or hunter something, but it's another big bluebird. And dude, that thing is not afraid of human beings. I one time was eating. We stopped at an intersection because we were looking at road maps when we were up there. We were up there grouse hunting, and I had my hand out the window, and I had like trail mix in my hand, and I just was like, just sitting there with it out the window, and this thing come in and flew and landed right in my hand, and literally started pecking it out. But I guess the same thing. They're not afraid of human beings, and it's just a normal bird that, they'll come in and see humans.
There's birds that'll do that.
He's not redhead, but
That's him. That's them.
Yeah, that's
That's
it.
them.
Yep.
That's them.
That's them.
I'll send
English
you guys-
Reds, I think, is what they're called. I think my dad called them.
I don't know if iPhones still do it, but the iPhones used to take the picture. It was like a live picture, so you could like see it move.
Yeah.
Mine does that.
In those pictures, you can see him like move his head to the right, move his head to the left, move his head to the right. Like he was scoping it out, man, and like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So Tim, now that you found success, what's your thought process moving forward? Like, obviously you're a
To
dick,
be
not
honest,
giving it up.
I already feel like I have never shot a deer before again. I'm already getting frustrated again.
Oh, because you're out there grinding again, huh?
Yeah, it's been quiet the past few days, but the other day, this big buck, at least he looked big to me, big buck came out, and
Cool. No, I saw the video. That was a certified big buck.
Was it?
okay,
Yeah.
he was big, and that just got my blood flowing. I mean, the wind was blowing right at him. It was bad. He was 40 yards away, but on the other side of a bunch of brush, and on the top of a hill, and the wind was just blowing right at him, and you can see him in the video. He's just smelling the air.
Mm-hmm.
If I had a rifle, though, it would have been a done deal.
He didn't blow or nothing. He was just uneasy, right?
No, he kept meandering on down, moseying on down, and
he's fine.
Smelling
He'll be
sticks
back.
and stuff. And
He'll be back.
I just watched him walk on by.
He'll be back.
Yeah.
Well, at the time of this recording, man, you couldn't be in the woods at a better time of the year right now. So if you just stay after it now,
Just stay hunting.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I'll be out there tomorrow.
it can all
Same.
change in a second.
I want to start a group for new hunters
Hmm.
because one of the things is you hear people talk about in hunting all the time is like the camaraderie and the community and people you meet and all that, right? But when you first get into it, you don't know anybody, you don't have any resources or any places really to go hunt. So I'd like to try to start some type of group for new hunters. Maybe not a ton of people, but something where we can, help each other out and share information. Maybe, don't all throw in some money for some stands or something and all throw in some time for scouting and, try and find some different spots on public lands and, have some stands set up that we can all use and share information and, try and set up a system to where like somebody can use this stand on this day, and somebody can use that stand on that day. If it's a small enough amount of like 20 people or something, and like 10 stands, something like that.
I like it, man.
Or even, I mean, it could go any direct. You know what I mean? That's just a thought. It could go any direction.
I identify as a new
Some type
hunter.
of resource for new hunters where we help each other out. Because right now, I'm like, I would kill for another piece of private to go hunt. Like,
me too.
I'm looking at all this public, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't want to go in there traipsing through the woods right now if there's other people in there hunting. Sundays are good for that, but
yeah,
that's what I'll have to do on Sunday.
Awesome, man. But like I said on the podcast a couple weeks ago when I shouted you out in the Killer's Corner, man, it's like the floodgates, man. Like something like that first one's never going to happen, but once it does, it just gets easier and easier. And I think you have a bright future in front of you and a lot of success coming your way for sure. Yeah. You're on the right track, man. You have been since I met you. Like I said earlier, like I really didn't, tell you what to do. I just kind of pointed you and confirmed some things, and like you've done a great job, using your gut instinct and just kind of figuring out along the way. It's been real fun to watch.
That's good to hear. Honestly, because a lot of times I really felt like I had no clue.
You know what? I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes I'm in the tree and I'm thinking, I don't have a clue what I'm doing up here.
It's a lot of woods.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I didn't want to cut you off earlier. I mean, this is a Tales. It's not really supposed to be a full episode or whatever, but like, dude, the spot I hunted this morning, it's Sunday. I hunted a piece of private that I've been hunting my entire life. I get a pile of does on a camera almost every single morning. And I only really hunt it Sundays. And the last 2 Sundays in the morning, this morning I actually saw some deer, but like they do not do what they do on camera every morning when I'm there. I don't know if it's my access. I don't know if it's my wind. I do not know what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
But that place is loaded when I'm not there, and when I'm there, it just doesn't work out. And it's like, dude, I'm not a new hunter, right? Like I know a thing or two, and I have a feeling I know what's going on. But like this morning, I'm sitting there and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing something wrong, right. And I can't figure it out. You know what I mean? But like, again, I think that's what all motivates us. It's all problem solving and figuring it out. And when it all comes together and you do figure it out and you get that success, there's no better feeling,
Yeah. It's all about the challenge.
That's right. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Oh yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, Trev, you got anything else to add?
No, just stay after it, Tim, and hopefully we can have you back on for another Tales when you do shoot that big giant buck.
Yes.
Oh, well, I will. I'll be back.
All right. Awesome. Good luck the rest of the season, buddy. We'll be watching. And
right.
Everybody else, thanks for coming back for another episode of Tales. Hopefully I did a little better job hosting this time, and we'll see you next week for another one.